There we go. There we go.
It's good,
What's
Kenny.
up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Good.
All right, perfect. I'm actually using a computer this time, not just my phone. Sorry, guys. I had to deal with a service call. It's not called the work group for nothing.
Yeah. Figured you
It's
had
not.
some work stuff going on.
Yeah, it's not called the work group for nothing. Only thing is, I guess this camera on the computer. I'm gonna have to start using. I'm gonna have to figure that out because it whites out my background. You can't see behind me, right? You can't see the city.
No, I can't see the city.
Yeah, it's all whited out, right? It's all good though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Welcome to the Work Griff. I am Cannon Hotep. Alongside me is my man Jay Pylon. What's going on, Jay?
What's good with the Cannon? How you living? Just
Can't
over there
complain.
working, trying to
Yeah,
maintain.
yeah. Try and maintain, bro. Man, so I didn't give
Hmm.
this what's his name, Jordan
Jordan
Neely
Neely.
thing. Yeah, I didn't. Like we touched on it for 2 seconds yesterday,
Hmm.
but I never really looked into it, right?
Yeah. Did you do
And
some looking?
yeah, I did some looking. I did some looking today, and
Okay.
also I was looking at some of the stuff that was going on Twitter as far as the gaslighting on both sides.
Man,
You know what I mean? It's
they're not
crazy,
really
right?
being sensible at all about it, are they? On
No,
Twitter.
not at all. They're not
You
really
can't.
being
I can't
sensible
even.
about it.
Right. I can't. You can't argue with these clowns and weirdos because they've already made up their minds, predisposed. They've
Yeah,
got their own little judgments that they've come conclusions, and all of it's hypocritical and pick and choose. It's the
yeah.
typical nonsense that you see from both sides, like you say, because we're gonna call it, over here, we're gonna call it straight down the middle, like we see it.
Straight down the middle.
Try
You
to,
got
it's
people.
try to be as objective and non-hypocritical as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Because you got people on one side. Oh, that white man lynched this black man on the train, and then on the other side you got
Man.
he you got to see his rap sheet, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So first off, it's yeah,
Meanwhile,
go ahead.
what you got? Meanwhile, you got the Latino man recording it with his camera. He's not jumping in. You got what was the other? I don't even know what the other guy
The other
was.
dude
And
was
then you got
either
the
they
other
were saying he
black
was.
guy too, right?
Yeah, you got a black dude.
A black guy holding him down too. So
Yeah,
it just goes back to that pick and choose nonsense.
yeah. That's what it is. It's pick and choose, man. Everybody, it's grifting season.
Shoot.
It's grifting season, guys. They want to make him the new George Floyd. That's what it sounds like. However, let's start off by saying this: it's tragic, no matter how way you look at it, right? It's a sad set of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Sad set of circumstances. So, what's alleged is that this guy got on the train. He took his coat off. He was being irate. He slams it down. Allegedly, he says, "I'll hurt everybody on here," and proceeds to say how tired he is,
Mm-hmm.
being homeless and he hungry and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy part is we have no footage of that.
Footage of all that, and then supposedly he said, "I'm ready to die. This is it.
He
I'm
said,
ready to
"I'm ready to
die."
die. This is it.
Okay.
I'm ready to die." So, but we don't have any footage of that, which I find hard to believe because everybody records everything.
They got their phones out at all times. Oh,
They got their
something's going
phones
down
out
on the
at
train.
all times, just in
That's
case they
a.
get that world star moment.
I'm telling you, yo, Cannon. I think some of these cats is just sitting on the train recording all day, just waiting for stuff to pop off. They've
It's New
got to
York
be.
City. Something going to happen.
They've
It's New
got to
York
be.
City. Something going to pop
Like,
off, bro.
like they said, the guy that was recording, Jesus, that was recording. I
He,
think his name was
he was,
Jesus, right?
but he's a journalist allegedly.
See, but he's writing. See, like you could be writing, just like they talked about Gonzo journalism back in the day. They had this
Yeah.
back in New York City back in the day, and in
Mm,
California, where you would have journalists go around ready to take those shocking pictures for the tabloids and for the newspapers to be the first ones on the scene at the crime scenes, right? So they would
exactly.
roll on the trains, and they would have their cameras back then. They'd have the big old bokeh cameras ready, and they'd be out there click, 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 click. And you can go back and look at those, like from the '60s and '70s. You see, they had the Saturday Night Special where they were killing people. There was a lot. It was a big death toll. Remember there was this heat wave
Mm,
back in the day. So I mean, it goes back to that of these people being ready with their cameras, and I'm feeling like a lot of these people out there are just ready to post these pictures so they can get that clout, so they can grift off of different things. So they're recording a lot. So where's the first part of the footage?
yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. I want to see what led up to that moment, right? We all want to see what led up to that moment because the other one has no context. We just see the guy in a rear naked choke. right? So apparently, it took 15 minutes for the police to get there. So they were holding him for 15 minutes, where he appeared to be breathing and stuff like that, right? Um, but like you said, I want to know what led up to them having to feel like they had to restrain him. We got K Stacks with the 9.99 super chat. I appreciate you paying my dues. Hotep and Build. I hear that. K Stacks is coming to Hotep Con. Make sure y'all get y'all tickets, man. Use 10%. Use Canon to get 10% off. HotepNation.com. Hit the Hotep Con tab. August 17th through the 20th at the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. Anyway, but yeah, so they said it was holding for like 15 minutes. But Steph says I'm planning on calling in the HA stream to talk about that. I worked at Penn Station, New York for years. Can't I can tell you some shit. Everybody, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is, everybody's acting like oh they keep showing him like, for example, Michael Jackson is trending on Twitter right now,
I got
right?
some esoteric stuff. I broke it down esoterically, so
Oh shit.
we'll get through all the surface level stuff. Then I'm
Uh,
gonna get into the deep dive. The deep dive esoteric stuff will blow some of y'all away.
we got Brooklyn Way in the building. She says, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" But yeah. So they Michael Jackson is trending on Twitter not because of Michael Jackson,
Right.
but because of Jordan Neely. He was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and I ain't gonna lie, he's a damn good Michael Jackson impersonator. Right? I watched some of the videos. I was like, okay, he can do his thing. But the thing about it is that it doesn't just because he can dance like Michael Jackson doesn't mean that he's like this virtuous person, right? Um, Now you got the right. They're going, oh, look at his record, his record, his record. Now what I'll say is that his record will tell you kind of his character or how he is. You know what I mean? If he's a troubled person or not. You know what I mean? However, at the same time, you can't always go with that. Me, I'm like, I don't care what his record said. You got to go with what right, for this instance. For this instance, you got to go with what happened in that moment. How was he in that moment? Was he violent in that moment? Was he getting ready to attack somebody in that moment, or was he just sitting there just making idle threats but not touching anyone? Those things matter, right? Now, the guy that subdued him, the main guy that everybody's looking at, white guy, he was a Marine. He had him in a rear naked choke, right? Um, the court said he lynched him. He's a murderer and this and that, and everybody's pissed that the police let him go. The thing about it is, if the police let him go after questioning, that tells me, right? That tells me that the police got some shit that we ain't seen yet. Whether it's the actual full span of the footage of what happened that led up to the event happening, or the people on the train corroborating the story of the Marine. Hey, nah, this dude was acting a fool. He was getting ready to hit this lady, or he was getting ready to grab this person, so he jumped in. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because let's not pretend that this shit don't always happen. You know what I mean? Especially in New York. You feel me? So here, check this shit out. Hold on real quick. Here we go. How many people remember this video? This came out like a couple weeks ago, right?
Punk ass mother nigga.
Now we don't know what this is, but check this shit out. Grabs the lady by the hair, yanks her down. Everybody's just looking. Everyone is just looking. This lady was mouthing, "Help me." She was mouthing, "Help me." You can see it. And everybody just standing around looking. And apparently this was in New York.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what the hell
Shut
that
the
is,
fuck up.
They got that
but they got problems.
No, you don't have it. What I do.
Is what I deal with.
No.
Ain't try to help whatsoever.
mm.
Ain't try to help whatsoever, bro. My question is, what do you do in that situation?
Man, the city needs to invest in some private security guard for these trains.
But that's the thing. Like, I would think that the New York subway system, you got a police officer at every fucking stop, right? You would think so. They guard they
Private,
guarding
it
they
needs to be
guarding
private security.
they guarding the turnstiles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You probably need an officer or two officers. What's up, P Dog Night in the building? You
It's not
probably
like
need
this issue hasn't been going on since the day they installed these trains in New
exactly.
York. It's not like this is brand new.
It happens here in Baltimore to the point where I told my wife I don't want her riding the train no more.
Right.
She's told me plenty of times she's been on the train and somebody got on there acting a whole fool. Whether it's kids
Right.
acting up and fighting or fucking with people on the train on the way to school, or somebody that's high out of their mind or mentally ill acting a fool on the train, right?
Mhm.
The thing is that what do you do in this situation? That the video I just showed you, you know what all of the comments were saying? Why didn't somebody help that lady? Why didn't somebody step in? All those people are cowards, right? Now with this situation, maybe Jordan Neely was just making idle threats and he wasn't doing anything, or maybe he is about to do something. But this guy stepped up. Now, am I saying that it's justified that he killed this man? No, of course not. That tells me that even him being a Marine, like not everybody, but people that know that practice martial arts, right? Rear naked choke. You can easily take somebody out like that, right? Because only it's a little bit of pressure to the carotid artery, and you cut that off for like 10 seconds, they sleep. If you hold it for like 40 seconds to a minute, it's a wrap for them. They that's where the brain damage, that's where the forever sleep comes in, right? Um, but when you watch the video, I don't know how long they had that choke in while he was watching the video. The guy was still breathing, he was still conscious, he was still fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which begs the question, we need to know, did he have drugs in his system that contributed to this? Was he crazy? Because everybody's saying he was mentally ill. Was he? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of stuff that needs to be answered. However, to sit here and demonize the guy who tried to do something about an issue on a train, I think it isn't right.
So you
Did
pointed
he?
out
Did,
you pointed out the Twitter pick and choose off the bat because when the woman's story dropped, everyone said, "How come no one stepped in?" When
Exactly.
the man's story dropped, they said, "Why did you step in?"
Right.
Which is the pick and choose. So with the man stepping in, a lot of people said, "Why didn't he just mind his own business?" We'll go back into it though. Him stepping in, there's 3 or 4 other people are in that mix of holding that guy down, right?
Yeah.
So, and you hear them saying, "Okay, you didn't play the video just yet, did you?" Right.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna play it or not. One in the chat if you think we should show the video.
I don't know if you would get in trouble for it or not. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's on
It
YouTube.
involves a death,
It's
right?
on YouTube, but
or
I don't
he
know.
dies later on. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but in the video though, you've got these 3 people holding him down the whole time, and there's people saying, "Okay, let's call the police." So the man, obviously that man, or if they indicate any of those other people that were involved in this, because we're only pointing out the Marine. But if we indicate these other people involved in it, what are they going to say? Obviously, they're going to say, "We were just trying to subdue him because we felt threatened by him because he said, 'This is it. It's time to die.' We thought he was getting ready to attack us. We were just holding him for the police to arrive and to, to take him back into custody." And maybe even one of those guys, because we don't know the whole story, maybe even one of those guys was there before when he was arrested. They said the man was arrested 42 times.
Yeah, allegedly he tried to push somebody off the
Train or pushed on a woman
off the platform. He tried to push him off the platform. Yeah, but the thing about it is, right? So you got Jimmy Dawes says, "I wonder if drugs were involved or what mental health checks are in his past. Instead of getting help, he will be exploited." Yeah, and that's the thing, right? When you see somebody, and this is for the people on the right, when you see somebody who has that type of record, right, who has that type of history, right, that means the system failed that man.
Thanks.
You got 40 arrests and you still on the street. Right. You're not in somebody's facility, getting treatment or whatever. You just still out there. That goes to that bullshit policing they're doing right now. You know what I mean? Where somebody does something dumb or something crazy, and then they get let out 24 hours later.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, the system failed this guy long before this situation happened. You know what I mean? Steph was saying that what you was calling this. You said the K2 stuff. Is that what that shit called, bro?
Oh, I remember that. The spice.
Yeah, that's
Wasn't that the
spice,
spice?
bro.
They had
That's
the bath
spice.
sauce, the spice, the sticks. They
Hmm.
had all kind of different crazy stuff. Now they got the fentanyl and the I don't know what
Yeah.
all weird stuff they got
Steph
going
said
down.
that K2 be having them tweaking to the max. You know what
It's
I mean?
one of
Because check this shit out. I just and just so people so P Dog, what P Dog say? P Dog said just over a year ago, a Brooklyn crazy on the train shot 29 people. Think if somebody would have subdued him. Exactly. Remember that shit? The dude came in there with the smoke grenades and started shooting.
yeah. I mean,
That was in
this
New York.
happened was the Buffalo. No, well, not the
Yeah,
Buffalo, but during the Buffalo incident,
it
right?
was just after. Yeah, it was on the
Yeah,
subway in
he
Brooklyn.
was in there
So,
with the stuff.
so check this out. Just so y'all know, like look at these headlines. Okay, woman attacked at NYC subway. I needed a police officer. NYPD's latest statistics do little to comfort woman attacked on Brooklyn subway. Stranger drags woman off NYC subway bench in random attack. Woman badly burned in apparent unprovoked New York City subway attack. What's that thing at? Woman critically injured after face burn. Good Samaritan helps woman 18 escape sex attack on New York subway. Homeless man indicted for allegedly beating a woman in the subway station, impairing her vision in one eye. This was what, September of last year. Man wanted for slashing woman.
Connor!
Connor acting up.
I'm
Man
sorry
wanted
about
for
that.
man wanted for slashing woman. Good Samaritan and suspect attack. Anti-Muslim attack on subway. Man slams woman head against Brooklyn subway door in unprovoked attack. Y'all get it. Y'all get it.
It's
Y'all get what
endless.
I'm
It
saying.
happens every
It's
day.
endless. It happens every
It
day.
happens with
And the
such
question,
frequency that most people on Twitter turn a blind eye to it until it involves white on black crime. Then it becomes a problem. But not like it's always been a problem. It's been a problem this whole time.
yeah. Robert Banks says, "What's up, fellas?" In the words of Uncle Hotep, society failed Jordan Neely before he became the talking point. Save the protests and the dead man slander. That's facts.
Because
That's facts.
they're coming for it from both sides, like we said. And
Both
we
sides.
told, I mean, we've been saying that this is exactly how it'll go down
Yeah.
because this is the script that they run with. The right runs with what was in his record.
Right.
Aha, see, he deserved it. And then what does the left run with? The same
Yeah, the
stuff.
same thing. Say, oh, it was a lynching.
It
It
was
was a lynching.
it was a massacre. They're all out to
Right.
get you. Vote for
Right.
Joe Biden
They
so this doesn't
they
happen.
zoom in past the dude that looked like me, the light skinned black man who might be Dominican. You know, they don't look at the fact that the journalist, and not only the journalist, several other people on the train car said that he didn't look like he was in any pain or anything, and that they were waiting for the police to get
Waiting
there.
for and that's what's gonna, I don't know, because see, they want to take the Marine and they want to have him locked up with Derek Chauvin and them, right? They want to have him
Mhm.
locked up for life. But what happens to these other people involved? And I'm not saying that, like, of course, what he did, I think was accidental to me from watching that video and then watching it again. I don't think that he was trying to kill
Well,
him.
the thing is,
He was trying to
he
detain him.
died, but the thing he died later at the
Right.
hospital.
He died later at the hospital, right?
Right.
He didn't
So
die on the spot. He
no,
died
he
later.
didn't die.
But
He died
that's
later at the hospital.
the problem though is asphyxiation going on. What kind of breathing trouble does he have? What kind of drugs did he have? Any drugs in his system?
Right.
These are all the things that people are hyped up on, the emotionalism rather than the rationalism of the events. And we got to go back to it. You guys, the system that we have in place is not doing anything for the mentally ill. They're not doing
Yes.
anything for locking down and tightening up our protection over our citizenry, right? When we go out,
Mhm.
because we're we're giving massive amounts to the military and to the police, but we see that they're using that for equipment. And you just had the girl with sleeping around with 20 other officers on the team. It's like, what are we doing with the funding? Why is Ukraine getting the funding? What's our infrastructure here looking like? And that's where we're falling behind, because it needs to be privatized. Again, the schools need to be hardened. We need to get into privatization of things, and we need to stop looking into all this. And we're not talking about privatization towards you're just an anonymous entity that can do however they please, like what those guards in Iraq were doing. What was that group
Right.
called? Black was it Black Rock? What's it called?
Black. I forgot.
Right.
What you're talking about though.
They were running like their own anonymous entity. We're not talking about that. We're talking about hold people accountable. You got to go to jail for the crimes you commit.
Right.
Be sensible with it, because this man was arrested 42 times. He needed help. Where's the help? You're just gonna send him into jail, and it's like we've been saying all along. This is what they do. They put you in, they put you away, then they let you back out until the ultimate event happens, death.
Yeah, exactly.
Until somebody innocent gets killed, but that person gets killed or somebody else gets killed, and we see this over and over and over again.
Exactly. So Reaction PR says, I thought Mayor Adams said crime was down. I know, right?
Narrative, doesn't it?
they skewing them numbers. Now what I will say is when it comes to Mayor Adams, right? I had to agree with him today.
What did he say?
You had AOC coming out calling this guy a murderer, right? Mm-hmm. She's a congresswoman. You had some other official in New York come out essentially calling this the Marine a murderer. And Mayor Adams said, we can't do that. We have to wait until his due process happens. We have to wait until the facts have come out and he's tried in front of the court. Because you know what happens when you got your elected officials already making preconceived notions or start doing stuff like that. It sways the courts, you know, of both public opinion and the official court. So when a grand jury comes up, you know, should this guy go to a grand jury, which I think, you know, to be fair, maybe involuntary manslaughter might be a thing, you know, if it goes, you know, because I don't think he meant to do it, but it's going to be in the back of those grand jurists' minds because AOC called him this, this official called him this, everybody on Twitter saying this, you know what I mean? Now, like I said, we don't know all the facts, though. All we saw is this one video that they put out of him being choked. We don't know. I'm sure somebody on that train has the full footage, right? Somebody on that train was recording him acting a fool the whole time. Somebody got that, right? We don't know what led up to that. Was he just standing in the middle of the train saying that I'm tired of this, I'm ready to die, I heard everybody being here, but not doing nothing? Or did he do all of that and then he went for somebody and then these people took action? We don't know. But to sit here and cast judgment either way is disingenuous. Right. I just think it's a tragic set of circumstances, you know. Right. I would say that this guy Jordan Neely is a victim of circumstance, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's been incarcerated, he's been arrested and released, charged and released, but nobody's ever put him in a program. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever looked at his record like, whew, he got a history of this. We gotta put him somewhere. Or do they just not care? What you say, Rob? Robert Banks, what you say? Uncle said, I read it earlier, but you got it word for word. Shout out to Uncle Hotep. It says, society failed Jordan Neely long before he became a talking point. And that's the truth. That's the truth. My question, though, to you guys is what would you do in that situation, or what would you want to happen, right? So given the shit that I showed you guys, right, with all of these attacks, right, because that's another thing that could have been on the mind of these three men who stopped this guy, right? Because let's just be honest, it wasn't just the Marine. There were two other guys helping, right? This shit happens all the time on the train. I just showed you that. It was a girl. It was a girl in Philly who got the R word on the train while the people stood around and watched, and nobody helped her. On the train, bro. These guys ride the train clearly. Maybe they see this shit all the time. Maybe this ain't the first time he acted a fool. We don't know. But the thing is, in a situation like that, what would you want to happen? Let's just take, for example, the one I showed you whatever that was attacked. The lady grabbed her hair. If that was you or your wife, right, or your kid, what would you want somebody to do? Stand around and just watch that shit happen because they don't want to get sued? They don't want to get prosecuted or charged should something happen? Or would you want them to take action? Thing is, we don't know what happened on that train, and we won't know what happened on that train until all of the footage comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't go off of that little bit of footage that's been put out there. Now, the guy that's the journalist, I don't know if he was on the train the whole time, or if he was about to get on the train and saw the shit, and then he pulled his camera out because he was filming from outside the train.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't know, but I'm sure somebody got that footage. I'm sure somebody does. Did that guy deserve to die? No, I don't think so. But did those guys or that guy mean to kill him? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, looking at the video footage of just them, from what we have of just them, it doesn't appear that they were trying to attack him. It appears that they were just trying to subdue him. And over again, you can hear them saying, "We're calling the police. We're calling the police." You can hear that over the intercom too, right? In that footage,
Yeah, right.
you can hear them saying, "We're calling the police. We're calling the police." And somebody's saying, "Hold his hand, hold him back," different stuff like that. You can hear little traces of those kind of things. Not kill him. We got him now. Ha ha. We got one now.
Right. Stomp him.
Like that. It was not I think that they thought that they were trying to do the right thing, but in doing so, he may have had something in his system and they inadvertently were killing him though in the process.
It could very well be.
He couldn't have been. I don't think his breathing wasn't right at that point.
It could very well be. Thing is that we're not going to know until everything comes out.
Where he was having a panic attack too.
Could very well be too.
That could be the case. Some people just have lots of panic attacks.
I know when I used to wrestle, I hated wrestling, bro.
Mhm.
I hated wrestling, and I wrestled unlimited. In my little ass in high school, I wasn't little, but like I was I was 192 pounds, and I didn't want to lose 3 pounds to make 189 or 4 pounds to make 189. We didn't have a 215 weight class. I had to wrestle unlimited. Unlimited stopped at 289 pounds. Now, I did well. I was one of the top wrestlers in the state. I was ranked number 2, despite being undersized. I was handling them big boys, but I'm claustrophobic. Like on my back, I don't like being pinned on my back, bro. I would panic, fucking panic, and my heart would be racing. Feel like my heart coming out of my chest. Yo, I get a headache. I get dizzy, and I was just like, either I'll bench press that man off me and just take the loss because my shoulders touch, or I'll just be like, fuck it, you got me because I'm losing it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
stuff like that could happen, you know. And when I
could have been claustrophobic too, you know.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until I started doing jujitsu is when I started getting comfortable with being on my back in awkward positions.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But pause on handling them big boys. Come on. But it's crazy though. But to see people, you know, picking a side right now.
Yeah.
Facts come out.
The emotionalism. Everybody has to get it out.
Yeah.
You know, the right has to get it out. Paul has to get it out. It's them again. You know, it's always the same. It's the same old, you know, cliche of the left, the right doing what they do every single time, rather than trying to approach it right down the middle and say, let's look at this. It's a mental health issue. Yes. Is it could he have been claustrophobic? Yes. You know, but we don't get that from those perspectives. That's not the perspectives that gain the clicks and stuff like that from their side.
Nah, they gotta have the inflammatory words, and then you gotta have the screen grab. You gotta write screen grab. Emmanuel Presley says RP they be the what do you say, RPR they're the first to be marching for justice like they're in Selma. See, the thing is,
a lot of people. I mean, I'm just gonna go back to what we said earlier in the last ones. This is Gen Z. A lot of people, right? And they missed out on all that stuff that grandma and grandpa and great granny were talking about. They missed out on it, and so they have to come up with different new random stuff to say we're marching again for. To be able to feel like they were a part of what, you know, Auntie was talking about, and then we're talking about. And because we see that with whenever we saw the cat from Tennessee, and and the way he was adopting the speech patterns from the 60s and stuff like that, despite this being 2023.
Yeah. C-Town 247, is that you, DMW? C-Town 247 says, listening along 100, hit that like button. Yeah, make sure if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Appreciate it. But bottom line is this, Jay. Bottom line is this. If it come out that he was just making idle threats and he was just standing in the middle of the train, not hurting nobody, just acting a fool, and then this guy took it upon himself to choke him out, then yeah, he need to stand trial and answer for that because it was uncalled for. You know, be ready in that situation just so what happens, something to just in case something jumps off. But you don't put hands on nobody until you see somebody in imminent danger. In imminent danger, right? You know what I mean? But be ready in that moment. But understand, people, a lot of people are fed up with this crime. A lot of people are fed up with shit happening. I'm not saying that Jordan Neely was about to beat the hell out of somebody, but we don't know. You know, and unfortunately, judging by his track record, it was a possibility. Who knows? You know what I mean? But what would you want to happen in that situation? Let's just say Jordan Neely threw his coat down. I'm ready to die. I hurt everybody in here. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I want water and food. And then he rushed at somebody with a knife. You know? Or like the story I just read in one of those articles, he threw a chemical substance, like somebody threw a chemical substance on a lady in the New York subway and burned her face. Or, you know, brutally sexually assaulted some woman on the train while everybody stood around and watched. You know, those are possibilities that could happen when you see somebody unhinged, when you see somebody at their wits' end, when you see somebody who says they're ready to die, they will hurt everybody on here and all this other stuff. You don't know what's going to happen. However, you be ready in that moment. You don't put hands on nobody until you see somebody in imminent danger. That's the only time you put your hands on somebody, is when you see somebody in imminent danger. Oh man, it's just a sad set of circumstances, guys. You know, but you know, the left, they want you to think that he was just some Michael Jackson impersonator who just, you know, was down on his luck and was brutally attacked by some man on the subway. And then the right wants you to believe that he was some savage who was just out to make people's lives difficult. And I say, let the facts come out first. Let the facts come out first. It's sad. Nobody deserves to lose their life. Nobody deserves to lose their life.
That's
Period.
right. No, R.I.P. to the. I was hearing what you were saying. Yeah, R.I.P. to Jordan Neely. It is sad.
It is. R.I.P. to Jordan Neely, and I really do hope the guy that that took him down, you know, or guys, because it was 3 of them, were justified in their actions. If they weren't justified in their actions, then they got to face the music.
Criminal. Yeah, we want to
Simple as
see.
that.
I want to see justice applied, you know, in a righteous manner, righteously, and applied as it's applicable, right?
Right.
And not just due to the court of public opinion,
Right.
And you know, being disingenuous with it.
Yeah. Emmanuel says once you actively attack someone, it's a different story.
Shoot.
But always,
They
he
weren't
says, but when
stomping him
possible, I
out.
think you always subdue. No, they actually just subdued him. They wrestled him. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, they saw they. But the funny part is the way they frame it. They zoom in past the black man.
Yeah. Remember when I don't know
boom.
if you did you ever see the footage from whenever Malcolm died? Did you see the footage from when Malcolm died? They're interviewing, so they're interviewing the crowds, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're interviewing the crowds, and they're like, "So Malcolm X has just died, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Look on the face of the. I'll send you the link sometime. But look on the faces of the crowd. The crowd is smiling and laughing. Black people and other people, white people. But then what they do is they zoom past and they say, "Look how much they hate us," and they zoom past the black people that are smiling and laughing. The reason that they're smiling and laughing isn't because Malcolm died. It's because they're seeing this is 1962 or whatever, and they're seeing all this fancy visual equipment that the producers and production team and stuff have. A lot of people only back then had radio. They were still
Right.
transitioning from their black and white TVs, if they even had that, to color TV. And here they're seeing all kinds of fancy equipment. They're smiling about the equipment and about seeing
Mm.
themselves in the monitors. They've never
Mama, I'm
seen
on
themselves in the
TV.
monitors. That's right.
Right.
So everybody's overlooking that and just saying, oh, look at the white man out to get us once again. Look at how they're laughing and smiling about the death of Malcolm. Meanwhile, ignoring the fact that you got 5 other black people standing right there smiling and laughing too. Not about the situation. It's context. And that's what people
Mm.
get wrapped up in their emotionalism about. You have time for my little synchronicity stuff, or you
Oh,
got to go?
no, you good. Hold on. So before you do that, I'm gonna
Okay.
show the video of Eric Adams. This is the first time
Okay.
I agree with Eric Adams.
Oh, yeah. You said that you had something off of him that you like.
Yeah. So
All
check
right.
this out. I'm starting to like StreamYard, bro.
Was it working good for you
It
over
ain't.
what's his face?
Yeah. Now with the computer that I got,
That's cool.
you know.
Appeared to be having mental health issues. This is something that you've talked a lot about. But I
Let's
so
go.
one of the reasons that this story is really hitting a nerve is because this man appeared to be having mental health issues. This is something that you've talked a lot about. But I want to read to you. This is a response from the comptroller, Brad Lander. He tweeted this: New York City is not Gotham. We must not become a city where mentally ill human can be choked to death by a vigilante without consequence. There's also this from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Democratic Congresswoman. She said, Jordan Neely was murdered. What is your response to what they're saying here?
Well, both the Congresswoman and the controller is a citywide leader. And I don't think that's very responsible at the time where we're still investigating the situation. Let's let the DA conduct his investigation with the law enforcement officials. To really interfere with that is not the right thing to do. And I'm going to be responsible and allow them to do their job and allow them to determine exactly what happened here.
I agree with him. You can't be out here tainting the fucking water.
He didn't come in reactionary like we kind of expected him to. So he
Yeah.
stepped back and said, let's look at all the facts.
Exactly. I was like, oh shit, I actually agree with this man. I was like, I actually agree with him. You know what I mean? So it's just a sad situation. So anyway, go with your joint, bro. Go with the numbers.
All right. So I think in terms of synchronicity and the year of doubles, this being the year of the black water and the black rabbit, we have it's like a universal showcasing of symbolism here going on, something that could be sacrificial again. So we could have a repeat of something like this happening again that would also involve a black male. Jordan Neely arrested 42 times. There's that number 42 again. I always talk about 42 with the laws of Mayat and the universal number. Life, the universe, and the number 42, like Douglas Adams said. It's also linked to black suffering. You had the 42 years from wandering from Kemet to the promised land. Jordan Neely imitated, let's get back to this, MJ. He imitated Michael Jackson. His name is Jordan. I'm liable to go Michael. Take your pick. Jackson, Tyson, Jordan, Game 6. That's Jay-Z. The Marine accused of killing Jordan is 24 years old. Big L died at 24 in New York on February 15, 1999. Michael Jordan was born February 17, 1963. Big L said, facts on tracks, I recite well. Everybody want to be like Mike, but Mike want to be like L. You have Michael Jordan equaling 42 in gematria. You have Michael J. Jordan equaling 60 in gematria. Jordan is 60 years old. I'm talking about Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson is 56 years old. He was born on 6/30/1966. And it'll be 8,888 days since Big L died. Again, Big L was 24 years since Big L died in this year. And then you have that Marine was 24. So you have 24, 42, Game 6, 4 and 2 is 6. I think that in esoteric terms, it's just showcasing that we're going to see some other personality, some other figure passing away soon.
Oh shit! Hope it ain't Jamie, boy.
Sacrificial ritual. That's one of the things I was thinking. You got Jamie Foxx, you got Mike Tyson, you got Michael Jordan. But what other kind of MJ level status do you have, or are we looking at some kind of MJ level status event taking place? And I think it could be any amongst that that degree or level of event taking place. If this is a foreshadowing event, and that's why you've seen it on Twitter. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, trending right now. We don't have Prince with us anymore. We don't have Michael Jackson with us anymore, and we don't have Jordan Neely with us anymore. I think that this is that ritual sacrificial thing that we see so often, which is like predictive programming. And whether it's happening because we live in a pre-directed universe, that is, that organic things are predestined to happen, like Einstein said, or whether somebody is orchestrating some events, I don't know. But I think that it what we see patterns, then you see events happen, and that's how oftentimes the people in the community call things.
Hey, shit. I appreciate that breakdown. I just hope. I mean, you got Michael Jack. You said Michael Jordan. You got Michael B. Jordan. You know, you got
And we
Mike
had
Tyson.
Jonathan Majors taking out the
Yeah, that's
taking out
JM.
that.
That's MJ backwards. JM.
And his initials, you go in with Jordan Neely, you get JN. So I'm not sure if we're going to be looking at something just popping up within the next few days, because you have when Big L passed away, it was February 15. When Michael Jordan was born was February 17. So we're looking at, from 99, 63, looking numerically like a time pattern for later on this year, another big a big passing. And those oftentimes sync up to the past passings of the past. You look at them, they always do. It's like, oh, it was 888 days later or whatever, or if it was even the 42.
Not to mention,
These numbers always pop up like that synchronistically. I'm saying.
Not to mention, you said that's your boy Donnie T's favorite number, right? 88.
Yeah, 88 is his favorite number, and you get June 17 would be 8,888 days since Big L died, and you have DA was it DA Braggs, right?
Yeah.
He's the one looking into this, and he's the one looking into Trump. So think that this all ties in with something monumentally sacrificial that's getting ready to hit the fan. And I want to say that this also is the same type of stuff we see preceding big events too in the past. Don't forget when the anthrax thing happened, after the event, post the event of what was that? Was that the day in September?
Right.
You have two different things taking place that your eyes are like, which way do I focus? Which story is it? And you had the Buffalo. Don't forget that we can't. It's hard to determine, which is which, because from the event you have the Buffalo event and you have the subway event, and they were almost like coinciding with each other. And I'm saying that that's where it looks like synchronistically within this year that we're going to see a double event taking place again.
So Phil S, what's going on? Phil S says, I'm not saying it was justified, but regardless of his past, the exercise of the First Amendment isn't a call to murder unless he physically harms someone. And New York doesn't support stand your ground laws. I understand that. I actually agree with you. Like I said, if it comes out that he was just making idle threats and he was just standing in the middle of the which actually, I mean, idle threat wouldn't necessarily be under the First Amendment. That's a call to action, almost like like I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm going to hurt you. That's not covered under the First Amendment, because
if he said that,
right? But if he was just making idle threats and he was just standing there in the subway, not harming nobody, just pacing back and forth like crazy people do in the subway, saying shit like he was going to do something, but not actually doing it, and that Marine touched him and took him down like that, then yes, that Marine has to stand trial for that, because although he was making idle, it would probably be involuntary, because it doesn't look like he meant to kill him, but it would be involuntary manslaughter. He need to stand ground, trial for that, if that's the case. However, if it comes out that Jordan Neely went to go touch somebody, and the Marine stopped him from touching somebody or harming somebody, then the Marine's justified. Now, from like I said earlier, the fact that they let the Marine go,
and those other people,
and
those
the
other people
guys,
let's not forget, those other people were putting hands on him too.
Right.
They were touching on him and stuff like that. I don't know if they grabbed around his chest and stuff like that, because we don't have the full video.
Exactly.
But we have to say, why are we letting these other people go too, if they were accessory to what was going on in that scene?
Right. Now the fact that they let the Marine go, right? And the other two people might have been detained as well. But everybody's focusing on this one guy. Now, the fact that they let him go tells me, or it leads me to believe that they got something that we haven't seen yet. Either it's
Mm.
corroborating stories not only from the other two guys that was helping, but other people on that train car, right? Or that journalist who might actually have been on the train. We don't know. You know what I mean? Or they saw the actual footage from somebody else's camera and they confiscated the footage. And they're like, okay, all right, well, we're going to let him go for this. You know what I mean? We
Right.
don't know yet. We don't know yet. I believe that it's going to come out. We'll find out. Like you said, Jay, they never let a good crisis go to waste. They may wait until they might wait until like January 1st to release that information to
Hmm.
gaslight people. You know how they do. They like to use it for their for everything.
Yeah,
Um,
that was Rahm Emanuel too, right?
yeah, never let a
He's
good crisis go to waste. Steph says he's just surprised he's not behind bars right now. The only way I can see him not being
they didn't
behind
arrest him.
bars, no, they
You know what I
arrested
mean?
him, but they let him go. They
Today?
arrested him. No. They arrested him or whenever it happened.
Oh,
They,
okay.
they they took him down for questioning, and then they let him go. They released him. So which tells me that his story was corroborated. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I don't know. I'm just going to assume that it was people on the train car um, that said, "Hey, this is what went down," or somebody had the real footage other than what the journalist had, and they let him go. But we don't know. We don't know, and we'll find out. Like Adam said, they're still investigating it. Because think about it. Who's their DA? Alvin Bragg, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's what we're
He was
saying.
ready to prosecute the bodega owner for stabbing that dude that tried to attack him. Remember? Until the people
Hmm.
spoke up. So I'm sure he ready to get himself a white man. But he's if anybody ain't gonna let that shit slide, just based off of that, it's gonna be Alvin Bragg. You know what I mean? So if they saw some shit and it was like, okay, this is what happened, and they released them, maybe they got some footage that we haven't seen yet. I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks or months or whatever. You know what I mean? But you know what else is funny? You heard
Mm.
anything else? You heard anything else about that Atlanta shooting?
No, this is it. This is it. This is the story that covers everything. They got it front. They got it front line on on the MS and all their spots. They
Mhm,
got the picture of Jordan Neely in black
mhm,
and white, um,
mhm,
impersonating Michael Jackson, and in big letters
mhm,
Michael Jackson. The little stories
mhm.
around it. You know what the little stories are around it right now?
What's that?
Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson.
Yep.
It's this. What's going on here, people? What's going on here? And then just like we talked about the ALC, the ALC and the Eric Adams comment, like that's the front page that I'm seeing right now. Jamie Foxx, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan, Jordan Neely, Eric Adams, the firing of Don Lemon and
Mhm,
Tucker Carlson. Again, we live in this is supposed to be the year of the doubles. They
mhm,
double got rid of both of the top two little characters, or you know how they do it. Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson were notable characters over there at their networks. They got rid of them on the same day.
mhm,
So I mean, and then we're
mhm.
waiting to see how Demi Fox is going to be doing.
Protocol said, nope, he had a black and a vet. Got to shut shit down. You know what I mean? But yeah, yo, Protocol, I'm liking StreamYard. It's good for on the go, right? When I just need a mobile studio, so, and I don't got my OBS. Like usually, I carry all this shit with me, like especially when I go to Hotep Con. I'm gonna just use StreamYard while I'm there. I don't need to use anything else. This is perfect. I might bring a mic, but that's about it. I don't really need anything else. Maybe a soundboard. I got a little mobile soundboard to go with me, so I got my little sound effects and shit. But I really don't need that because I can actually I can honestly load the sounds on here if I really wanted to. StreamYard ain't bad, yo. So,
Good.
question before we get out of here, right? I'm gonna show you this video, and everybody in the chat, I want to know what you would do in this situation. I just want to know. So let me give y'all. So let me give y'all some context real quick. What is this saying? It says, Grandma bought stewed vegetables for her grandson and asked him to hand over his phone and stop playing games. The grandson refused to hand over his phone and yelled and cursed at his family. And they got hashtag mental health issues are rising. China at an evil place, blah, blah, blah. So there's the context. Like he's really ready to attack his grandmother, apparently. Oh, I turned the audio off, my bad.
那些娃太不像话了，真的是往死头打，说娃噻。那个小娃带去打哭了。
So he pointed at the guy filming, like, bitch, you filming me?
Nah, my take on this was that he looked like he was a little on the spectrum, right? And that so as my understanding goes, there in China you only get a limited, especially I had to have like a limit for the teens and for the other people if they're not clicked on their studies or something like that. If they're clicked over to their video games, the government has like a special app or something like that can monitor it, like maybe through that Wii chat or whatever, right?
I believe
that.
So
you're on it only for a limited time, and so the teenagers and the young people, the young adults and stuff like that, to get in their game playing, they can't be on there 8 hours a day. Like they can get in their games or their Tetris or whatever they want to do for just a limited amount of time. So that time becomes real important or real special to them, and so I'm going off of that assumption here. Maybe that's the case here. The young man is a little on the spectrum. He wants his special time on the phone to beat his Pokemon or whatever he's got going on, and it's not registering to him that, hey, we got to get back to the real world right this second. You got to eat your stewed vegetables and help grandma out. And the other people around seem to be, pretty mild mannered about it, trying to accommodate the situation and say, hey, young man, she's just trying to look out for you. It seems like that's the case here.
Yeah. So my question is this, right? Because you got a lot of people that, because their kids might be on the spectrum or, have a mental disability, that they can't be disciplined, right? And I don't think that's the case. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, my sister, I love my nieces. One of my nieces has autism. She's nonverbal. She has her fits. And my sister corrects her and disciplines her. And she learns from that. Right? And I believe, I don't care like how what it is, how far you are on the spectrum or whatever mental disability you have. At a base level, you have the ability to learn right from wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like in that situation, would you discipline your child or your grandchild? You know what I mean? Because they have to learn. Because all that's going to happen is he's just going to get a bigger version of that you got to deal with eventually.
Yeah, he looks like a young adult already. When his size, I don't know how old he is, but he looks up there.
Right.
So it gets tougher. I could say that.
Kay says you can't. America and other countries mind your P's and Q's. You know what I mean? It's interesting to me because imagine somebody like matter of fact, the story where like it went viral for a little bit where the kid destroyed the lady's apartment.
Yeah.
Like the nigga, like he turned into the Hulk.
Tablets and the whole place was
pummeled like a tornado ran through.
Right.
He broke the toilet. He broke the
Toilet was
porcelain on the
gone, sinks
toilet
was gone, everything was gone.
because he was mad that allegedly he was mad that she took his tablets. Some people were saying that he just had
It
a
was
rage fit for something
some
else.
people were saying the whole thing was faked for viral clout, but I don't know. This is just what Twitter was bringing
Right.
up. So I'm not sure the
However,
facts on
let's
that one.
just for the sake of argument, let's just say the shit was real. Let's
Okay.
for the sake of argument, she took his tablets and he fucking went on a rage fit.
Mm.
They said he was my size
Dang.
at like 16. He was my size at 16. What do you do to prevent that? You know what I mean? Like, imagine me having a mental illness I'm dangerous.
Mm.
I'm dangerous. So it's like when you got a kid that's, 10, 11, 12 younger, do you discipline that? Do you discipline it, corporal punishment or whatever, spankings, whatever, to prevent that in the future? Or how do you deal with that? Do you put your kid in a home? Like it's I think that's a hard thing. Like when I put on Twitter as a quote tweet, I said it's just sad. It's sad. His grandmother can't handle him. Luckily those people was around.
Man.
You know what I mean? It's just like I just want to know, like, what do you do or what wasn't done for that kid?
Mm.
You know what I mean? To keep him from doing that. Because imagine that same kid, right? Imagine that same kid being by himself on the subway and being mad at somebody and attacking somebody. And then next thing you know, he choked out.
Right. Whew. Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Because at a certain point, mental illness or not, people got to defend themselves. So people got to stop the person, stop that from happening. At some point, they're a threat. So I just be looking at stuff like that, and it's just like, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? I know people have it different ways. I know my mom said, like, you gotta nip that shit in the bud. My mother was telling me, she's like, cause she old school. My mother about to be 60. She old school. She like, you did that shit. I don't care what was wrong with you. I'd have bust your ass. I'd have bust your ass. You know what I mean? She was like, because like she said what I said. She's like, I don't care what mental state you got. You know right from at a base level, you know right from wrong. You know what I mean? And you know, at a base level, you know better. Just like my sister says with her daughter. At a base level, her daughter knows better. She knows she ain't supposed to act up. She knows she ain't supposed to put her feet on her sister. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it might not be like violently. It might just because she's just trying to irritate. But she knows she's not supposed to be on the couch or climbing up on certain shit. She gotta, she corrects her, and I see Charlie knows. She knows. So it's just like, sometimes I think like, do you, what do you do? Because that's a hard situation to be in. Like my son's on the spectrum, but he's low on it. He's very smart. He just hyper and he learns whatever he wants to learn. You know what I mean? So I gotta for me, my correction is I gotta constantly give him verbal cues to keep him on track. You know what I mean? Like today is his birthday. Shout out to my son Hunter. He is 9 years old today.
Happy birthday, Hunter.
And he told everybody that he had a birthday coming up for like the last 2 weeks straight, every day, 3 times a day. Did you know I'm turning 9?
Yeah. Cannon got the big kids. So what's he wanting to go do?
We're supposed to go to this place called Urban Air today. He doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to Urban Air. He's going to have some fun. Have a little birthday cake. This is funny, right? So my son, sometimes he just break out preaching sometimes. So my wife said, hey, what kind of birthday cake you want? He goes, I want a birthday cake with me on it. And he says, like, in my football equipment. Then he goes, nah, I want a cross on my birthday cake so I can celebrate Jesus. Like he just does that. Sometimes he break out in prayers and stuff. My son, I'm telling you, so my son he's a character, boy. I love him to death. But he's 9 years old today. He went to school swagged out, fresh with his new non-balance 990s. And if you don't know about the New Balance 990s, they're a staple. They're a staple for all Baltimore people. Everybody in Baltimore got a pair of New Balance 990s.
Man.
Emmanuel, you know. What's up? Baggins once said, "Pop say I'm a yank a knot in your, I'm a yank a knot in your ass." Hey, yeah, older parents, bro. They Old Testament, bro. They Old Testament. You know what I mean? I got a cousin. He's he has severe mental illness, not mental illness, but severe mental I guess is mental retardation still a word?
I don't know. I think they're trying to. The buzzwords get switched around so often. I
Yeah,
don't know.
well, he's mentally disabled. You know what I
Mm.
mean? He's 21, but he's nonverbal. He has his fits and stuff like that. My uncle corrects him. Sometimes he corrects him, with a spanking. Sometimes it's a verbal cue, but he knows what he's supposed to do and what he's not supposed to do. Sometimes it might just be a pat on, a rub on the back that calm him down. But you got to know how to get, and I guess in that situation, you got to know how to calm your kid down. So I don't know. He said DC they use phone posits. See Emmanuel back, but DC got that from Baltimore because we was rocking the phone posits back when Penny first dropped the phone posits, and then DC picked up on the phone posits. Like I used to have every color of phone posits. I used to get them like a couple of weeks before they drop. You talking what? Back when I was getting them, they was $220 a pair. When they was dropping, I have every pair. Now you gotta have a damn raffle ticket just to get them. I stopped wearing them. I stopped wearing phone posits. Plus, the quality of them ain't good no more. So they kind of phony now. But phone posits used to be the joint. Let's not act like the old school parents are to blame for a lot of today's issues. I don't know. I think a lot of millennial parents are to blame for today's issues. Or Gen Xers. I'll say Gen X parents. I'll say. Like the old schoolers. I guess my mother would be a part of Gen X. I don't know. I don't know the age group is for Gen X.
Yo, it has different cuts off the who's it 2000 something? I don't know. I had to go back
Yeah,
and
I
look
don't
at
know.
the
What's the
list.
start for Gen X? I think my mother was the start of Gen X, I guess. She was born in like 65. She ain't a boomer.
41 to 56.
Gen X is 41 to 56.
Yeah.
That's not boomers?
Nah. The baby boom generation is from 65 from 1965 to something, right?
So what's after Gen X?
I mean from prior to that.
So what's after Gen X?
Gen Y, isn't it? Gen Y, Gen Z. You have boomers. You have boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and your next generation that's going to be coming up.
So who was millennials?
The
millennials started at 81, right? So if millennials started at 81,
Mhm.
Gen X was before millennials. I don't know. Anyway, I'm an old head.
You said, I don't know, they were born in the like 64, 65 from Gen X, from 65 to 19, before like 1979, 1980 is Gen X, basically.
Okay, so then my mother is Gen X. All right, I got you now. Yeah, so I think so it ain't the millennials. I would think like some of the Gen Xers, not the early Gen Xers, but the Gen X, like my age, like maybe just before me, maybe the Gen Xers that was born in the 70s are more of an issue because they try to be their kids' friend too much. And since I'm a millennial, you have to throw some of the early millennials in there too because they trying to be their friends with their kids. They trying to go to the club and drink and have Instagrams with their kids. They were never trying to discipline their kids. You know what I mean? You got mothers going. What we were saying, protocol. You got mothers down Orange Crush with their kids. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. You know what I mean?
They at the Freaknik.
Yeah, they're Freaknik. Some of the kids was born at Freaknik. God damn it.
Goodness.
Baggins said these kids are Jen Goober. Emmanuel says one of our big issues with the black community is the overuse of corporal punishment. I agree, right? Sometimes it's called for, but I be seeing some people that be like just overboard. Like I seen a kid, right? I was at a football game with my son, and I'm walking behind this lady. I'm bringing over the the refreshments because halftime. What you do? You get the kids some Capri Suns and shit, water. So little boy, he had to be no more than like 2 or 3, bro. First off, she walking all ahead of him. Come on, bring your ass on. I'm like, this nigga 3. And then like he drops her phone, and she gets mad and smacks all living hell out of this kid in the back. Like that's abuse, in my opinion.
Out in public, you know all that?
Out in public, bro, and then yanks him by the hand. He dragging his little feet, trying to stand up. I'm like, Jesus, Then you do got some parents that just they spank their kids for every little thing. You know what I mean? My kids get ample warnings before daddy has to spank them. They get ample warnings. They get 3, 4 warnings, 5 warnings, and then like, look, I told you enough times now. Because like I don't want to be that parent that always hitting their kids, especially my daughter. I don't think men should be the ones disciplining their daughters a lot. I'm not gonna say they shouldn't, but a lot. I think the mother should step in and discipline the daughters more than the father should, because you really don't want your daughter being used to a man hitting her. You know what I mean? That's just me. You know what I mean? YV says, gotta add the crack pandemic. That didn't help at all either. That's facts. Would you say? Emmanuel said they had grandmas at Orange Crush too. Yeah, grandma be 42. Granddaughter 18. The mother like, I don't know, 30 or like 35. Grandmother 58. All of them at Orange Crush getting it in. Nicole B, hello all. What's up, Nicole? Manuel says, my mom never touched me or my sister. We both are college graduates and have never been in trouble. I personally never see the use of hitting a child unless it's severe. A lot of punishment is just. Yeah, it depends on. It depends too also on the character of your kid or the personality of your kid, right? So Emmanuel, you and your sister might have been, mild mannered kids. Y'all didn't do a whole lot of shit. You know what I mean? Y'all might have did y'all stuff and y'all got like a talking to or punishment, and that it worked for you guys. You got some kids like, fuck that, I don't care. You know what I mean? You got some kids that's really strong willed. And I'm not saying you gotta break your kid's will, but your kid gotta respect you too. So you got some kids that like the punishments and the taking away of the TV and shit like that don't phase them. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta put that healthy fear into your children. You know what I mean?
You know what?
Fear and respect.
You know, with me, you know how many spankings I got?
What's that?
Well, just take a guess. Let me see where you at.
I don't know. Maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah, under. So under less than the fingers on my hand. Less than that.
Yeah, like
from the time I was whatever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up. That was it. Because mom and dad would just have a talking to me. My mom would have a lecture that started off with, see, back in the day, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh no, not these lectures again. I'm done with it.
Yeah, sometimes the lectures is worse. It's just like please, just whoop my ass. I don't want no more lectures. I don't want no more lectures. Just beat my ass so I go back outside.
Yeah, my dad, he would just, my dad would get on to me all the time, right? But he would get on to me for the littlest thing. You breathing too loud, son. What's all those noises you making? So I was quiet all the time.
What was that one skit the dude knocked on it? Your doo-doos is too loud. You gotta let it roll off the bowl. But yeah, you got some parents that go overboard. You know what I mean? Like Emmanuel was saying. But sometimes those spankings is justified. But it's got to be something where the kid is just like, all right, you ain't gonna learn with just conventional groundings and shit like that. I'm gonna have to put hands on you with this belt to your ass. And where a lot of kids like me, like you said, I might have been spanked a handful of times, right? But I learned my lesson after every one of them spankings, and I ain't never do that shit no more.
Did your dad have some lectures for you?
No, that nigga ain't. Oh, Yeah, he would lecture you to death before he whoops your ass.
Oh, you had to
Oh, I
to
got
go
the
through
lecture. You
both.
got a lecture and the ass whooping, bruh. You got a lecture and the ass. Look at this shit. Let me see if y'all can see. Y'all see that nigga right there? That's my father, and he 58 in this picture, or 57, something. You see how big he is? I'm big in the picture, but that nigga bigger than me still.
Yeah.
Imagine that nigga at 38 at my age or 30s, bodybuilder, still that big in my ass. I ain't want no parts. I ain't want no spankers. That nigga whooped your ass. That was the last time you got your ass whooped for that situation. And then my mother wasn't no better.
Oh,
You know,
man.
my mother, she would give you more of a chance. You had to do some really dumb shit for her to beat you. It had to be some real, like one day I was lighting matches in my room.
Oh no, not like
Oh, I got my ass whooped, boy. She smelled that shit through the air vents.
you could burn the whole house down, son. What you think?
I think I singed the carpet.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I got my ass whooped. I got my ass whooped so bad. My dad was like, "You okay?"
Yeah.
Not only that, I got my ass beat, and I couldn't go outside for like 2 weeks. All I could do was watch my friends from my window play outside in the summertime. They come. Can Brandon come out? Oh, he punished. His ass playing with matches. He see y'all next week. I come outside. My friends like, you was punished. You doing playing with matches. You got caught. You know what I mean? But
that ended your pyro.
I ain't never played with no
career
fucking
right
matches.
there.
I ain't never played with no matches no more.
That was
I ain't
it.
never played with no matches no more. Shit, fuck that. But you know, at the same time, right? As far as like back to that video that we showed, you know, that's a tough situation to be in. You know what I mean? And I just want to know, like, what do you do in that situation? Because that kid could easily have been, you know, on the subway. Grandmother can't control him. He zap out on somebody on the train because maybe they bump into him and he drop his phone. Now he done attack some guy like a rabid pit bull, and then somebody subdue him, and now the kid not here no more. You know, all over some tragic set of circumstances where, you know, somebody should have been able to, I don't want to say train him, but like teach him, you know, how to not react in that way, or find a soothing trigger that'll calm him down in that situation. You know what I mean? You got like, bottom line is parents got to be more proactive in their kids, especially when your kids have issues. You know what I mean? Because you don't want them to get older and get into the world, because not everybody gonna have the compassion that you have for your kid.
This is what it says online. It says previously China had limited the length of time that kids could play video games to 1.5 hours of the day to 3 hours on holidays, but under new rules they've been limited to only 1 hour.
Damn, China's strict, boy. That's that social credit right there, boy. They shut your shit down. You ain't read your ABCs today? No, no WeChat for you. Shit.
Strict as heck over there.
Emmanuel says, the things I most remember is my mom making me work out if I got in trouble. 1 hour of PT with my mom was rough, or would have to write a letter in detail of everything that happened in the situation. Yeah, just whoop my ass, mom. I ain't trying to do none of that. Can I just get a spanking? I'd have asked for the spanking. Fuck that. Baggins says, I was 14 and Pop said, I need you to do me a favor. Replace all the pipes under the house with PVC. I was a skilled tradesman by age 16. But even though he might be joking or he might be for real, but my grandfather was like that. My uncle used to say that before they could go out and you know, have fun with their friends or whatever when they was teenagers, my grandfather said, I need you to chip all them bricks. So my grandfather would go to like these job sites where they tore a building down because my grandfather was cheap. And he would get all the bricks that were pretty good, but they had like mortar on them. And my uncles had to sit outside before they could do anything. Their chore was scraping off the mortar or chipping the mortar off the bricks before they could do anything. One day, my grandfather said, "All right, before y'all go," my grandfather was renovating the house. "Before y'all go, I need y'all to jack the house up." It's like, what? He had y'all jack the house up. He said he was not joking. And Baggins said, shit, that happened. He said he was not joking. I hear that though. My grandfather, when I was 11, my grandfather did the same thing. He taught me how to. My grandfather was like a jack of all trades, yo. He had a bunch of houses around Baltimore, and he would do all the work on them. So I learned how to tar a roof at 11.
Dang.
I knew how to. I learned how to replace shingles at 11. I helped him put a whole roof on his house. I learned basic plumbing, basic electrical, and I learned how to frame a room at 11. At 11. And I still know those skills to this day. It's a lot of stuff that he tried to teach me that I wish I would have held on to. But, 11-year-olds, it's like, I just, And my grandfather was paying me to do this. He would pay me $200 a week. You know how much $200 a week is for an 11-year-old in 1996? That's a lot of cash. $40 a day. I think that's $200. Am I wrong? I might be adding wrong and shit. But you know how much money that is for a kid in 1996? Why is this not working? Hold on. My phone acting up. My bad. Hold on. What is that? Let's see. Yeah, $200 a week. I'm right. Yo. But what he was doing is he was helping me because my mom and my dad had divorced like a few years prior. He was helping me take care of my mom in the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
He was helping me take care of my mom in the house. I never realized until I got older what my grandfather was doing. He was teaching me responsibility, teaching me how to pay bills as a man at 11. You know what I mean? Now, my father took good care of us, all that good stuff. My dad always provided stuff like that. To this day, he still did. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking grown man. He'll still be like, I got this truck. I was thinking about giving it to you. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But like, my grandfather still wanted me to learn responsibilities and taking care of a household, and that's what he did. You know what I mean? So, let me see. Kay said, my dad was so tough, he taught me to box when I was in kindergarten. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that either. If anyone made me jack up a house, I have to run away. Baggins said, getting $5 to see a matinee movie took 20 minutes of questioning and debate. Bro, that's just preparing you for life. You know what I mean? These kids nowadays don't know nothing about it. My daughter, she get a book report, she start panicking. I'm like, what is you panicking for? Like the other day, she's like, Dad, I gotta read Romeo and Juliet. I was like, okay. Do you mind if can I use the Audible account? First, I was like, I'd have just watched the Leonardo DiCaprio version because that's a little more entertaining than reading the book. You know what I mean?
Oh, Gatsby? The new one.
No. Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, that old.
Remember that
Oh,
one?
okay. That.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir? I bite my thumb, but I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. Yeah, but I was like, yeah, it's like use the Audible. And I was like, girl, y'all don't understand how good y'all got it. I had to learn the Dewey Decimal System. I had to go to the library, find the book, read the book, cite the sources. I said, y'all can just do the shit at the click of a fucking mouse or your finger. I said, so she got Romeo and Juliet on Audible. She listened to that shit in like 2 days. And I'm like, y'all kids is lazy. I tried to introduce her to Chat GPT a little bit, but I won't let her use it. She was like, I need a book. So I was like, watch this. And I typed in, I need a book report on this. And she's like, oh. And I erased the shit. I said, now go do a book report. You're not using Chat GPT. I was like, you gotta be resourceful. I said, you kids got it made nowadays. You know what I mean? I'm just serious. No, but it's the same thing. Like my dad, we had to do 50 push-ups before we left the house for school. And if we didn't do an official 50 push-ups, we just missed the bus that day and had to walk. He was not joking. My father quote said, "I'm not having any fat kids." Was his quote.
Was that right?
And dead ass serious. When I got to high school, I had to eat like a half a pound or a pound of spaghetti. And I ain't talking about the good spaghetti where you got all the good shit in it. It was just spaghetti noodles, sauce, garlic, pepper, and a chicken breast. Got to get ready for football season, son. You got to bulk up. That was breakfast every morning for 4 years with orange juice and water.
Orange juice.
I'm serious. This shit is crazy. This shit is crazy. I'm telling you. But these new parents, man, they got to get it together. Cause like, the more you try to be your friend, the kid's friend, the more you and discipline comes in all different forms. It don't have to be physical discipline, right? Like you said, like Emmanuel said, them lectures are worse. you know,
Lectures.
Fucking here, peel all these bags of potatoes, shit like that. That should be worse. You know what I mean? It's just, but you got to be on your kid's head, man, because you don't want them to turn out like a Jordan Neely or the kid that you just seen in this video, or the kid that fucking Ray Lewis, the teacher, because she took his fucking his DS or whatever the fuck it was, the Switch from him and beat the hell out of her in the school. You don't want your kids turning out like that, So anyway, what's this? Baggins said, my buddy Pops made spaghetti noodles and put ketchup on it. His mom left him. Yo, I can't hold you, yo. Like if I make a pot of spaghetti, like a real pot of spaghetti where I add all the green peppers and shit, I ain't gonna lie, yo. Sometimes I put a little ketchup in there, give it a little tang. It ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. Now, what's a crime is what my father's mother used to do when she made spaghetti. She would make spaghetti and put hot dogs in it. That's the crime. Spaghetti.
You didn't like the hot dogs and spaghetti?
Hot dogs and spaghetti was a bit of a turn off. I was just like, I guess it was her way of not having not putting some sausage or andouille sausage or whatever, or Italian sausage in there. She put fucking hot dogs.
I like those Earl Campbell's.
The Earl Campbell's what?
The Earl Campbell links.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
The hot links?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those are my favorite ones.
I used to love them, but my stomach don't love them no more.
Oh, it's got too spicy?
Yeah, it's bad for me.
Did you get the red ones or the regular?
The red ones. No, I get the red ones. They used to be my jam. Them red ones used to be my jam, boy. Now they not no more.
Get some,
bro. I had some lamb, so I usually get a lamb salad. Like, cause I'm back on my keto thing to lose weight, cause I gotta look good for Hotep Con. Make sure I get y'all tickets. Promo code Cannon for 10% off. HotepNation.com. Hit the tab. Anyway, so I got some lamb. I got a lamb salad from this halal place, and they got this red sauce. And that red sauce be good, but that red sauce spicy.
Right.
I fucked that lamb up. It was so good. 2 a.m, my stomach was like, oh shit. I run to the bathroom, boy. It was bad. I was hurting. I was praying to Jesus. It hurt. It was one you had to get in the shower after that shit. That shit hurt. My asshole felt. What he says, the guy on Bruce Stew. Y'all ever watch Bruce Stew? My ass felt like a malfunctioning flamethrower. Pause. I was hurting, bro. I was hurting. Oh my god. It was so bad. What's going on with this thing? There we go. I'm dead ass, y'all. I was like, Lord, please help me. Please. That sound like John Witherspoon on Friday. Help me, please. Somebody help me, please. Help me, please. It was bad. I was like, all right, I can't have no more of the red sauce. I don't care how good that red sauce is. I can't do this shit no more. Why does this thing keep doing that? It's like the camera wants to adjust to. There we go. It's trying to adjust to the background behind me. But yeah, bro. Man, you're gonna say pause in the highest regard. You're a trip, yo. Anyway, that's all I got, yo. I'm gonna get back to work. I appreciate you hanging out with me, Jay.
No problem.
Moral of the story, guys. Not moral of the story, but bottom line is, guys, this Jordan Neely situation. Hopefully, more information come out. But I don't think that Jordan Neely needs to be demonized, and I don't think that this Marine needs to be demonized until more evidence come out. If Jordan Neely was just making idle threats and not doing anything, then yes, the Marine needs to stand trial. It's probably going to be involuntary manslaughter. But if Jordan Neely was ready to put his hands on somebody, then Jordan Neely brought that shit on him. So, anyway, it is 12:39. I'm sure HJ probably going to go live at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. That's what he usually do. You know what I mean? Because it's grifting season. Like he always say. But anyway, if you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification icon. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Please share this stream. Tonight, Hotep's been told you tonight, 8 o'clock on Hotep Jesus' channel, And directly after Hotep's Been Told You, come right back over here for the Hotep's Been Told You after party with me and Jay. Jay, you down for the night, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna see if Hotep ready to jump on with us. If not, it's me and Jay. Anyway, guys, until later, it's Ken and Hotep saying, be blessed, stay strapped, don't miss. Holla at y'all.